A Roblox player allegedly died after playing a game with no seizure warning. Roblox is one of the biggest platforms out there, so how does something like this allegedly happen? Well, a couple of hours ago I was browsing Twitter and to my surprise, I saw something very interesting. Now, if you are in a Roblox game developer's shoes, what would you do? Of course, you'd panic. This is a very avoidable scenario because every game should have a seizure warning if a game has a lot of seizure-inducing effects. So, what do these fuckwit goobers do? The developers of this game in Roblox? Nothing. When they were confronted with the accusations of someone dying because of their game, they just took those messages in face value and wiped their asses with it. As you can see from these screenshots right here, they're just making light of the scenario here, not even taking it seriously in any way whatsoever, saying, "Don't worry son, she's with Tung now." The fucking image here of an angelic triple T or Tung 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 Sahur here in the heaven or some shit. If someone goes up to you as a developer of a video game, no one in their right mind would respond with this shit. Even if all of this is alleged. Now, let's say there is still no proof that someone died because of the game lacking any seizure warning for people experiencing that kind of shit. You still wouldn't respond this way to someone if you hear that kind of bad news. I can already smell from this fucking screenshot right here, this asshole, this piece of shit right here, the developer of this Roblox game is very terminally online. This person clearly doesn't know how to interact with others, so they just interact using meme images and brain rot. Probably a brain, a small fucking goldfish by now. So let's go over this whole situation here. It's very, very concerning situation. So I got the Google document here. Someone pulled the fucking Google Docky, as you can see. I'm going to pull this up here just to spread awareness on the situation because this is a very interesting situation. Again, a huge reminder, I want you all to take this with a grain of salt. But still, even if this comes out as all being fake or just something that never really happened, like maybe it's all just a dream, maybe it was revealed as a dream to this guy, it's still something that should be taken seriously because forgetting to put a seizure warning on your video game is not something you can just get away with easily. From what I understand, when skimming through these documents, the game has already been out for 48 hours. One screenshot here says that it has 1,000 concurrent players daily. That would still be a lot of people, and some may actually experience epilepsy over that shit. So anyway, let's go over the Google documents here. So first things first, the game is called Doombyfate. It's one of those asymmetrical horror games inspired by Dead by Daylight. So from this first page here, it says that before the character that has seizure-inducing effects 1X was released, the thread had been seen by higher-ups over at Doombyfate. So from the showcase videos itself, apparently it's already shown the seizure-inducing effects. So this guy here, Ori, the gamer, it is absolutely not normal that I, someone who regularly deals with flashing lights and intense VFX, feel strained after watching showcase videos of this killer. I can't even imagine seeing it in full screen in-game. These VFX are legitimately a health hazard and could send people to the hospital. Players with photosensitive epilepsy are genuinely at risk because of this god-awful VFX. Release is at the very maximum 48 hours away. Fix this. Setting isn't enough. It is unacceptable that the default settings of a game are at risk of hospitalizing someone. What we can take from the screenshot here, it's from April 4th, and the update was like 48 hours away from that. I think the showcase was April 5th, 2026, and this message was April 4, so yeah, warnings were already there days before the situation happened, and the developers clearly didn't acknowledge any of it. So yeah, the right thing here after seeing this thread in the developer's point of view would have been to hold off the update for like a few weeks or so, just to keep the community of that game safe. But instead, they fucking released that shit. They said that shit is fine, go ahead and put it out there already. As the pattern continues here from the developers, they didn't do anything about it. So apparently, the documents here says also they confirmed that Francis, probably a name of one of the developers here, tried to get an implementation of an epilepsy mode, but apparently it didn't go through. That is already very bad, and it's fucked up that only one developer tried at least to add it, but really didn't go through apparently. So now we move over to the actual case here. As expected, the release without an epilepsy warning or epilepsy related settings caused someone with epileptic photosensitivity by the name of Kit to be hospitalized after experiencing a seizure related to 1x flash effects. This is a completely avoidable scenario that could have been avoided with another delay. I completely agree with this guy. The developers really should have done that instead. As you can see here in the screenshot, a person named Draco Bloxer says, "Tell the others I don't have much time. My friend," crossed out here, "got a seizure from playing Doom by Fate thanks to 1x. I'm running there right now. I need to go." Another screenshot, unfortunately. My condolences to this individual. The person says, "I have to go soon, but get this to anyone with a large following. She died in surgery, all because of this. She died in the emergency surgery." So of course after that, the whole thing spread like wildfire. It blew up on Twitter, safe to say. And after that, of course, the developers had to make statements about it. What you saw earlier in the intro, of course, the developers and staff responded carelessly and heartlessly to the news and the outrage surrounding this. I'm going to be showing you a lot of screenshots here, and they are all very, very pathetic. The first screenshot here, replying to a message someone said, saying 50 million people worldwide. They respond, "Doom by Fate gets 1,000 concurrent users on a good day. How many epileptics are gonna die? 1. They also follow up with, "Don't play games if you're sensitive." All just trying to put it under the bus, safe to say, what they're doing. They are not taking the situation very seriously here. Clearly a user dying from your game, from something that was a very huge oversight, is a huge concern, and yet they have the gall to respond this way. The developer, one of the developers here at least, goes over and continues saying, "Y'all are genuinely mad over some random, I'm crying." And someone responds here, which is a very good point. "You know, I'm keeping the same energy if you're dying." And the developer responds, "Yeah, why the fuck would you care about randoms on the internet?" Apparently, it also says here in the document that Roblox itself has a warning for seizure-inducing stuff, or specifically Roblox may contain flashing lights. However, you need to read a specific part of the website for it to be shown. Not anyone can read it outright, so that's a huge flaw, and every developer in the Roblox website has to make an actual epileptic seizure warning on their own games. And here's the developer again, responding to the people's backlash. Did they say they won't do anything or what? And then they went to respond again saying, "Y'all came straight from Twitter, holy shit. Boo fucking who, someone got hurt." That happens all the time, grow the fuck up. Which is a very stupid thing to say, honestly. They really just can't take it seriously, the developer here. And one user here makes a good point. Carnomage here says it'll become the team's fault. People can get hospitalized or whatever happens. It is 100% on their end because they failed to make the community of the game at least safe by actually putting seizure warning on it. Anyway, here's some more screenshots on the victim and the friend's point of view this time. The person here, named Mel, is claiming she didn't know what the game was, and she didn't know what Doom by Fate was. She didn't know what the killers did. Of course, it's a new update. People are going to be pulling in their friends to check out the game and see the new content released. So I did check the clips here of the so-called 1x, the killer that gave Kit the epilepsy they endured. Of course, after all that shit that went down from Twitter and Discord, all the messages, the back and forths, 3 hours later they added the setting called flash toggle for people with epilepsy apparently, and someone tested it in game just to see if it works. To my surprise, it doesn't really fucking work. They did it with the setting on and versus off, and they got hit with the second ability of 1x. Nothing actually happened, as you can see here. So after that shit, the clownery continues, the circus show here. It led to some of the team accusing people of making a problem that's no one's problem, everyone's problem, when it was all simply criticism regarding their response to Kit. They even threatened to lock down channels for criticism under the guise of harassment, they call it apparently. So now, as you can see in the screenshot here, they're getting 40 DMs about this shit, one developer says, and the asshole here who was blaming the victim earlier says no one's problem, but they're making it one. And it goes back to the first developer saying, if you all don't shut the fuck up, I'll lock the channels. They're already threatening to lock channels in their own Discord server here just to avoid the backlash instead of actually doing their fucking job and implementing a proper update to that character. So now, the developers are saying, don't discuss it here, honestly. A discerned text isn't proof, sorry. And that's pretty much the end of the Google Docky here. The Google document, I mean. It's a pretty wild situation. So let's go over to what the community's saying here. So one person makes a good point here saying, a player with epilepsy warned the developers directly. They shipped it, he died, and they called him a random. Roblox has no required seizure warnings, no flashing detection, and the platform just hopes developers to do the right thing. That's exactly what happened here, which is very fucking pathetic. They didn't even do anything. Roblox itself has a flaw in its platform. I know we're taking it with a grain of salt because it's not 100% confirmed somebody died here, but still the game has no flashing detection indeed. If a game, a popular game, makes a slip and one of the kids who are playing it, let's assume that, has a seizure because of it, they of course are going to be held accountable for not putting anything that could prevent that, which is very stupid from the developers. So someone here also says, this is the most fucking vile and disgusting person I've ever seen on Twitter. The severe lack of any emotion towards a player of theirs dying due to their negligence and making a joke out of it, and then telling someone to leave and call them a slur. Now I don't know where the slur came from there, but it is indeed pretty wild. I didn't see the slur at all, but maybe that happened. I didn't really check on that one too well. And someone here says, this is completely reasonable and understandable thing to do when you are accused of fucking killing someone. This is on the other side of the situation here, and it is indeed true. It's very reasonable to demand proof because as of right now, there really is no confirmation of whatever happened to that situation yet. Of course, they need proof, but still, they actually should have taken action. And that works, by the way. They did take action, but it didn't fucking work. But still, there is no proof, so they didn't really take it too seriously, but still, the response from the developers is just sickening. Lastly, someone here says, I heard they changed their username, and it's a screenshot saying, Niz has changed their Roblox username in a desperate attempt to hide. You are a fucking monster, and especially you deserve to be haunted for the rest of your sad life. Apparently, the developer is this person now. They changed names to avoid that shit. Overall, a very wild situation here. It's not 100% confirmed yet, so again, take everything with a grain of salt. Let's say even if the situation wasn't true, maybe it was a hoax, you don't believe everything you see on the internet, they really shouldn't have acted that way. It made him look like an asshole, like very unprofessional. Still, it's a very wild situation if it was real. I'll give you guys an update if there is in the next few days, and that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about here. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. That's pretty much all of it. Have a great day, everyone.